What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob, doing a head-to-head with two Glenfarclas family casks. Both of these were bottled in summer of 2020. This one over here is a 2003, and this one is a 1990. All right, so we have almost a 17-year-old, or just about 17, and a 30-year-old right over here. Gonna nose them, taste them, and give them a mark. Starting over here with the 2003. This was a bottle split between my buddy Paulo and I. We really enjoy the family casks. The 2002 was mind-blowing, so let's see how this one is. Obviously, we've gone through quite a bit of it. It's best to do reviews on these once you've gotten at least to the halfway point of these bottles, maybe even a little bit lower. Because they're single cask, I find they take a lot longer to open up. And they're heavy sherry too, obviously, so these are both first fill sherry. Glenfarclas still banging out some incredible sherry casks. I mean, the color on these, absolutely stunning. The 2003 is super dark. This 1990, incredibly dark as well. Yeah, so dark. Really nice cooked down fruits. A little bit of like dark raspberry kind of notes, maybe cooked down like syrupy raspberry. Some chocolate notes in there as well, some coffee notes, some rich cocoa notes. And then something fruity for sure, like strawberries, raspberries, but all cooked down, very dense, very thick smelling, if that makes sense. It's the type of raspberry, dark berry, or cherry notes that you would get from a dessert. Like a molten lava cake with raspberry syrup on top. It's kind of what I'm getting here. Really nice on the nose. One of those whiskeys that you can nose for a very, very long time, so don't rush it. Let it open up quite a bit in the glass as well, even if it's past the halfway point. And then leather notes as well. Old dusty book kind of, library kind of note. So this one's 17 years old, but still has all those old notes that you would expect from something older like this 90 here. ABV is 58.3 on the 2003. On the palate, yeah, molten lava cake drizzled with raspberry or strawberry syrup and some like coffee grinds on top or something like that. Honestly, really nice. This one started really hot for me. I was a little bit disappointed with the 2003 when I first opened it. It drastically got better as time went on, and it's to the point where it's as good, if not better now, than the 2002. It drinks really old. It drinks older than 17 for sure, which is weird. Really good. Don't have to add a drop of water, but you can if you want, depending on how much of a fight you want, but doesn't need it by any means. The finish lasts forever. All cocoa, all coffee kind of notes on the finish. And then you get that hint of like raspberry syrup or strawberry syrup in the background. Honestly, if you're a fan of Italian cuisine, there's a dessert called tiramisu. I'm getting the notes that I would get off a tiramisu on the finish with this glass here, with the 2003. Beautiful. Honestly, delicious whiskey. Gonna mark that in just a sec. Gonna go over to the 90 here. Okay, so very different on the nose. a little bit more reserved than the 2003. And I've noticed that from the 90 from the get-go. Still there. It just takes more to get something out of this one. This one you might have to play with it with water, that kind of stuff. Definitely on the darker side. Dark chocolate, cocoa kind of notes. Less on the fruity side like this one. Yeah, definitely chocolate, like dark chocolate heavy, like we're talking 80% dark chocolate. On the palate. Palate's nice. Again with the dark chocolate, it's kind of a one-trick pony, the 90, which is weird. You would think that that would be more the case with the 2003, but for 30 years old, I think people would have a hard time distinguishing the age difference between these two, which says a lot about the 2003. Yeah, you definitely get that old leather-bound book kind of library type notes for sure. It's there. Not as dominant as on the 2003, but I will say this almost was upset with the 2003 when I first opened it. It's been open a good 3 to 4 months longer than the 90, so keep that in mind. But the 90 is beautiful too. It's got a really nice finish. Nothing off-putting. I guess where you would be able to distinguish the biggest age difference is that this is 55.2% and does not drink like that. It drinks lower than 50% as far as heat goes. This also drinks lower than the ABV stated, but you can tell that this is just a little, dare I say, smoother. Both have a very nice viscosity. Gonna sip the 2003 one more time, go back to the 90, and then I'll give these a mark. Yeah, so for now, right now, the nose on the 2003 is just way more popping. Like I said, with those cooked down fruit notes, the dark chocolate or cocoa kind of notes, coffee notes, something creamy as well. Like I said, like a tiramisu cake. And the palate's beautiful as well. I gotta give this one a 92. This is excellent whiskey. It started probably at like an 86. I was really disappointed at first. It drastically got better as time went on. It took, unfortunately, half a bottle, but now it's drinking like a 92. If you average the scores, maybe it's closer to a 90. I can reasonably say that like people would think that that's a 90 because it wasn't as good in the beginning. Much better now, and there's not a whole lot left. So technically, I don't know what's the right way to do this. Do you give it a mark in the beginning, middle, and end? Possibly. You know, Roy from Aquavite does his recycled reviews where he gets to drink the entire whiskey before he gives it a grade. I think that's a great way of doing it. It's hard. It's hard to know what the right thing to do is with this. I'm gonna stick with my 91, 92 here. Really good whiskey. Like I said, it probably should be maybe closer to a 91 because of where it started, but great where it's drinking now. To the 90. Yeah, the nose is starting to open up. It just takes a little bit longer. These have been sitting in the glass for about 30 minutes now. So this will be getting better and better in the glass as time goes, despite it being open for quite some time. Much more popping now. Still with that dark chocolate note, a little bit of coffee, leather-bound books, or at least books, the older books. Maybe not leather-bound, but there is a bit of leather in here as well. Like a leather jacket kind of smell. Very distant, but it's there. And I should say there is something sweet here. It's hard to identify what that is. Maybe leaning toward a lighter chocolate, like a more milk chocolate, but the dark chocolate note kind of dominates. And then the hint, like the faintest hint of something sweet, sorry, fruity. It's there, I just can't identify it. Maybe like dark chocolate covered cherries or something like that. Yeah. Some cherry notes in there as well. Yeah, just like usual, the power of suggestion, the cherry follows through on the palate. It's actually opened up quite a bit more. Yeah, I mean, as far as overall balance and just ironed out quality, you can tell that the 90 is drinking older. There is something more going on here. It's not as fruity, which I really like about the 17. But something really, really nice happening with the 90. Mid palate finish, super long. That now that I'm thinking cherries, it just keeps coming back to mind, like biting into a dark chocolate covered cherry. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Yeah, really nice. Really, really nice. Okay, let's talk about price here for a second. I got these from Liquor Lodge at a really, really great price. He worked out a deal with me, the owner of Liquor Lodge, gave me great prices on both of these. So I can't really base my mark on price because this one cost me just around 900 bucks. And then this one, I think around 400 bucks. Okay, so globally that's probably lower than the average of what both of these go for. So that being said, I'm not gonna mark these based on price. Are they worth it? Is this worth double the price of this? I don't think so. Like I said, this is like a 91, 92. I'm gonna probably say that this is a 91, 92 as well, maybe leaning more towards the 92 than this. And that's a clean mark because from the beginning I was probably around that, all right? I was closer to a 90 with the 1990. So all that being said, this is drastically improved. This is improved a bit, but not like tremendously. I would still expect more from a $1,000 30-year-old single cask sherry whiskey, all right? So that being said, I'm gonna stick with a 91 on both of these. So you decide whether or not which one's more worth it. If you buy the 2003, pop it, pour out a couple samples or 4 samples, and then let it sit for a couple months in bottle. Then go back to it because you'll have more time to really, really enjoy the whiskey. Less of that heat that was coming off of it in the beginning. Whereas the 90, it's, you know what, some days it's drinking incredible for me, some days it's drinking just okay. So that I think a 91 here is fair. Both of these are excellent whiskeys. Have I had a better Glenfarclas Family Cask? Yeah, I have actually. The original Glenfarclas Family Cask I had, you can check the archives for that video, just probably the best one I've had. I haven't had one that really disappoints though. So they're usually worth the risk when it comes to price. 91, 91, that's my final score for both of these. Both very good. That's it for me, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you really like the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you can support this channel on Patreon. Cheers.